Before you start tattooing, cover all your shit in saran wrap and towels. Alcohol, more saran wrap, some towel, look at saran wrap, cellophane. Be clean. Sup, we are doing this. My name's Mads. I've been tattooing my leg for a little over a year now. This is a vlog. Thank you for being here. Do this. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'm a panda. How can you not listen to me? This is a series where I'm documenting my process in giving myself a tattoo sleeve. It's not a how-to per se, but it might work as a reference for anybody who's considering doing this themselves. If you are interested in learning how to do some stick and poke, I might suggest you head to other parts of the internet. But this is just a vlog. So here's some footage of me shaving my legs, because sometimes people on the internet have really strong opinions about other people's body hair. So there you go, weirdos. You are welcome. And this is Soju the Corgi, who comes to my house sometimes and distracts me from my projects. So she'll just be vibing in the background on occasion. I had an intention for my January project. I had pre-set up to start the lines on a completely new project. I'll show you some footage of how I sort of plot that stuff out. As you saw earlier, I'll put some tracing paper on my leg and try to get a framework for where a new tattoo might fit, and went and sketched a couple things. This one is blatantly the logo from the Strapping Young Lad album Alien. A song, I think it's Possessions? I think that's the track it's in. I always think it's Love, but I'm wrong. There's a track that mentions my new workplace, and so whenever I'm driving to work, I almost always have to play that song. And I've always really wanted a Devin Townsend tattoo, and Strapping Young Lad is how I discovered Devin Townsend. So instead of like twiddling my thumbs over a basic looking like empath tattoo, I decided to put the Strapping Young Lad logo down. Another tattoo I'm gonna put down is a Heffabee. And so yeah, as I stated, this was supposed to be my January project. I sort of roughly have this goal to put down a new tattoo every month. I started about 13 months ago, and I currently have 9 tattoos down, so I'm behind schedule, but, you know, it's just a goal I set for myself. It's completely arbitrary. I like sharing my drawing process. I'll flip my drawing back and forth and look at it reversed. I could not do this professionally because of how long it takes me to draw something. People ask me if I take any shortcuts, you know, if I'm ever going to get a machine so I can work faster. Here is something I did invest in so that I could move a little bit faster. I got myself a stencil maker. That way I don't have to hand draw stencils every single time I want to, you know, resize something. So that helps a little bit. But I got all set up the night before. I had my stencils made, had my general placement decided. I even put down like a test run of this stencil so that I could decide for sure if I liked the placement. And then weirdly enough, that day the power went out. There was a massive windstorm here in Southern California, and it knocked out the power for a lot of people. We were in a brownout for like 3.5 days. And I decided instead of starting a brand new tattoo, I would just sit down and touch up stuff, mostly because of the amount of light I was going to have. It's January at the time of filming, and I was just worried about running out of sun. So I have a couple trees, and there's just a limited amount of light that makes it into my property in the first place. So plan B, finished sanitizing everything, cleaned everything up, and then moved out to the living area where I got the most amount of light. And here on Mad's Sticky Pokey Adventure channel, we like to repetitively cram it into your brain that the more sanitary is the more better-er. And I also enjoy emphasizing that I am not a professional. You should still not take what I am saying very seriously, because I am a nerd poking themselves in their own home. You see that carpet on the floor? That's a no-go. Shouldn't be tattooing in a place like that, but if you're gonna, you sanitize everything you're gonna touch. Don't do that, because it's gross. Don't open things with your mouth. See, that's an example of, like, what not to do. Take the good with the bad here on YouTube. But, you know, it's honest. We come by our YouTube content, honestly. So here I am, sitting in the gloom, trying to take advantage of what light I have, doing a little bit of setup. Unfortunately, a lot of this footage is at an odd angle or, you know, out of frame, as I have been known to do. But yeah, whenever you're opening or closing an ink container, try to use a paper towel to do the twisty twist. That's, you know, other than sanitation reasons, it helps keep ink from getting everywhere. Make sure to take breaks to take pictures of cute animals, because life is short. Also, take before and after photos of your tattoos so you can post them on Reddit and then immediately regret it. But yeah, so I decided to give myself razor burn. Look at that. That's gross. Straight up gave myself razor burn there. Perfect. Beautiful. A+. I've had legs my whole life, I swear. Like, I was born with these. You would think I would know, like, how to deal with the skin on them, but I do not. I have a small collection of colored inks. And in the past, I've had some weird reactions that might have been due to sun more than anything, or from off-brands, and I just decided, like, I want to see what happens. I want to see how hard these are to work with, I want to see how well they take, and I want to see if my skin reacts negatively to them. So this day we sat down, I put 2 different shades of blue and 2 different shades of orange in my little A Fire Inside tattoo. You know, don't know how I feel. This was not premeditated, especially, like, the extra. I legitimately had so much ink in the cup that my brain went, well, I don't want to waste it. And I started putting more color on the shelf of this tattoo. I've had it for a month now and I still don't know how I feel about it, but my leg's an experiment and that's the way it is. Pretty happy with the flame. Flame looks alright. I wish I had put color into the candle instead of the shelf. I also went over to the wizard and legitimately just threw some chunks of color in there. Didn't think it all the way through, just had a general sense of, like, these colors are gonna go here, these are gonna go here. Didn't fill in the green super well. No, I'm not gonna show you any closer. You just get to wait till the next time I make a wizard vlog when I actually, like, really focus on him. But this was maybe an hour that I went and I did just a little bit of shading. I made lots of weird faces that I got really self-conscious of when I was editing this video, and we're not going to talk about it. Yeah, threw in those oranges into his pipe, put a little bit of green in the leaves. I went to go start putting some blue into the waves, and then it occurred to me that the sun was going away. My brain literally went like, probably got about 20 minutes worth of, you know, sunlight left. I can get a couple things done in 20 minutes, and then I realized, like, I still have to clean up. And I stopped what I was doing, and I freaking hustled to, like, throw everything away. So, several days later, instead of going back to the projects that we were going to be doing in January, decided to touch up the avatar tattoo. At this point in time, my avatar tattoo, which is one of my most recent vlogs, is currently my favorite tattoo, and I just really want it to be finished. It's on the larger side, like most of my tattoos, and yeah, just needs a lot of attention. So here's me putting some needles together a little bit more thoroughly. Here's where my setup usually is, at my computer desk, so I can listen to YouTube videos the whole time I'm doing this. Everything's been pre-alcoholed and cellophaned, and here I am looking at my strapping young lad tattoo for a very long time, and then deciding I wanted it bigger instead, so we just moved on with the touching up the avatar tattoo. It's really important to, like, be 100%, and I wish I knew how to describe it to you. I've had tattoos that I didn't expect to be 100%. Like, I put down on the outside of my knee, I have a Star of Chaos, and I put down that stencil one day just to see how I felt about it, and it was beautiful, and it was perfect, and I knew in my heart of hearts I would never get it lined up that good ever again. And I'm so thankful for that experience. That night sucked. Like, it was kind of late, and I'm like, oh crap, now I've got to put this tattoo down. I will never be happy with this stencil ever again. I have to put it down the way it is, which sounds crazy. But if you've been here a while, you might know with my skeleton that I put down, I put him down 7 different times, 8 different times, and was never fully happy with him, you know? I'm okay with him now, but I waited until he finally sat in a way that I was content with. And I put down that strapping young lad logo, and I'm just not happy with it. I'm just not vibing with it. And I'm gonna try a couple different things, maybe make it fit a little bit better amongst these other tattoos. Maybe I just don't like it as a tattoo. I don't know for sure, but I wasn't 100%. So got all these other projects to work on. So we did a little bit of filling in on this avatar cicada. Put in some of that Johannes makeup, which it desperately needed, and I was a ton happier with it once I had that down. But you can only do so much work in a day. Put your needles away somewhere very safe, like in a sharps container, and then clean up all of your filth and go to sleep. So I let that heal up for a little while. As previously stated, I had some other project plans, kind of tried them on a few times and wasn't really feeling it for one reason or another, and so just kept working on what we've already got. Just the other day I sat down and did, I want to call it my final pass of the avatar tattoo. I filled in a bunch of space that still needed to be filled in. It's close enough, good enough for government work, I believe is the expression, but got it mostly filled in. When it comes to, like, changes in my process since I first started this, a recent YouTube comment I got was suggesting to use tissues instead of paper towels to wipe away excess ink and stuff, which I don't know why at first didn't hit right. I'm like, no, there's lotions, there's whatever in tissue paper, but of course there's brands that are fragrance free, so I decided for fun to try a box of Kleenex, and honestly, guys, it might be a game changer. Like, it must be a price point thing. Like, when you work in a tattoo parlor and you're buying tons of rolls of paper towels, like, it's more economical to go the paper towel route. But the tissue paper was so nice, especially because it's already in that box and it's, like, ready to go. So A, seems more sanitary, B, was less textured and did not irritate the skin nearly as much. So fragrance-free tissues might be the way to go over paper towels. I also have gotten in the habit of prepping multiple needles. I still have my main grip that I got off Etsy that I really like, but instead of pausing to switch needles throughout the process, I'll pre-prep needles and put them on a popsicle stick with some flex tape. And no one asked, but this is my personal sanitation ritual before tattooing. sanitation. Yes, I am an advocate of boiling yourself like a lobster at least once a week. Actually, I just really like baths, and it's not a great idea to take a bath with a fresh tattoo, so I just kind of, take one before I give myself another tattoo. But it's the ye old-fashioned way to disinfect things, like boil something for 12 minutes straight and it'll be totally sanitary. Moving on, like I said, I switched to using tissues, which was a lot nicer. I took another commenter's suggestion to not drown the tattoo in fluid every time I'm trying to clean it, because I'm kind of making a mess. And if you've watched previous videos, the first pass of this was very painful, and I was convinced it was because of the textured needles. And I'll just let you know, like the last 2 times, I think I've sat down and worked on this 5 times altogether. The last 2 times I've sat down to work on this, I don't remember noticing pain at all. I think I just got in the flow state, and it never at any point was I like, ow, my skin hurts. My leg starts to hurt, my leg goes numb, but I'm now in the habit of doing stretches. What's funny is I have to accept this is a vlog, and I'm just talking at you. I kinda, in my last video, tried to get really educational, and I have the best of intentions with that. I'm not qualified for that, though. And nonetheless, I have these ideas of, how to make this really useful, and I almost filmed myself doing, yoga to show you guys, stretches to open your hips and stuff, and I'm like, bruh, you're already hanging out on YouTube in your underwear. You're just it's taking it too far if you're straight up doing, stretches in yoga pants for the camera. But, another big aspect of self-tattooing is spending a considerable amount of time, not just day of, not just week of, but, working on your flexibility, working on your circulation, and working on your awareness of, when your body's going asleep. Because I've definitely, come out of tattooing to a completely numb leg. That feeling when you've been passed out on your arm for hours and you wake up and your arm no longer feels like it's attached to your body. I've stood up from my chair and not had the use of my leg because it was so asleep. But yeah, working on your knee in general, at least because I'm in my mid-30s, it's not too bad. The skin is basically stretching itself because my knee's at an angle. So that's pretty nice. One of the toughest parts of tattooing is keeping that skin nice and taut. Sometimes you'll see an amateur stick and poke artist who has pokes that are all over the place. And yeah, they might have moved too quick, but more than anything, the reason their lines don't look sharp is because they did not stretch the skin. They just kind of held stuff out of the way. Even I'm not doing the best job I could at stretching the skin. I need to get in better habits if I ever want to be tattooing other people. So I don't know, if you want to start on yourself, around the knee is not too hard to reach. It's not actually that painful when it comes to stick and poke, and the skin is pretty well stretched. So I might suggest starting up near your knee. A lot of people, myself included, started down on their ankle and stuff, and it was tough, and holding the pose was the hardest part. And it might have been easier to learn if I wasn't struggling with the pose, in the first place. But, now my worst tattoo is underneath a sock, and most people are never going to see it. Just different things to keep in mind. And like I said, this is 4 or 5 passes, so that probably makes this around 20 or 30 hours altogether. That's a rough guesstimate. Not like I've recorded this and I could actually go back and, do the math and figure out how long I took. I don't have the enthusiasm for that. I just want to move forward with this project. But yeah, I'm trying to think of actual useful information to tell you guys. I've already preached at you about being sanitary. I've already kind of showed you how I set things up. I've done other videos where I talk about materials you might need. I'm still on the fence about different brands because there's so many freaking brands of supplies. I am still learning what kind of needles I actually want to be using. I did most of this 50% gray shading around the edge in a 14 round liner, which, because of the angle I poke at, is a little bit too big. Right now I'm trying to fill in a line with a 7 round liner, and it's a 14 round shader that I usually use. Pardon me, I misspoke. But a 14 round shader is pretty big. It's very big. Might be too big. Yeah, you know, that's just the way it be. I just want to say real quick, thank you everybody who leaves comments and stuff like that. You don't got to be nice or whatever, but I've gotten some really, really cool suggestions. Like I said, switching to tissues was a suggestion from you guys, and I super appreciate it. I actually just hit 1,000 subs, which is actually, I just hit 1,200 subs, which is crazy. So hello everybody, welcome. Hope you're being safe. And if you're new here, you do not have to go back and watch the old stuff. This content's going to be steadily improving in quality, but might not be coming as rapidly as it was during the great panini of 2020, as it were. You know how it is. That whole getting back to life and everything. But I'm super, super happy with this avatar Cicada. I just did this shading last night, and this morning I took a picture of it and I hopped on Reddit. I'm like, Reddit, look, I didn't post in the Stick and Poke. I went and posted in the band Reddit subreddit for this particular group. And the first comment I got was somebody making a reference to a superhero show. And that's the second time I've started a tattoo and it ends up looking like a superhero logo. I have an accidental Punisher tattoo, and now I have an accidental heartbreaker, headbreaker. It's been a long year. It's only February and it's been a long year, boys and girls. Anyways, I'm gonna go get some sleep, and then I'm gonna show you what this looks like healed 36 hours in. I'll talk at you guys mañana. Alright, so here she is. The leg. I'm pretty happy with this avatar tattoo. It's coming together. I want to go in, give that red a little bit more attention. I decided to thicken it up a little bit. I think some of those lines might get touched up again in the future, but that's just how this is going to go. Thank you so much for checking this video out. Let me show you real quick what those other pieces we worked on looked like. Did a little bit of shading in the wizard's pipe. Gave him a little bit of color. He's gonna get either blue or purple robes soon-ish. I'm almost holding out, knock on wood, I'm almost holding out for a machine, because I kind of want him to have like cross-hatched sort of shading. We'll see what happens. But I'm fairly happy with this cicada. It looks a little funny when I bend my leg, but I figure it's the wings that are warping, and it kind of works. It doesn't look terrible. I mean, it was free, so what are you gonna do about it? There's my Star of Chaos. I've got my float tattoo, and real quick, what that color looks like, healed up 3 or 4 weeks. That plague rat will be getting some more attention. I want to color in that Eye of God, so lots more stuff to come in the future. Got lots of gaps. I want to start drawing smaller tattoos to fill in all these spaces. And we're gonna start on my thigh this year, so thanks for being here, and be safe. See you next time.